Started out on the account management side, so actually fulfilling the campaigns that we end up bringing in. So I have my kind of roots in having a fundamental understanding of kind of what Google likes and what they don't like. And we have a lot of information to share during this webinar. So we'll kind of go through it as fast as possible. We are a digital marketing agency, so SEO, pay-per-click, social media, and website design. Since 2004, our end goal is to convert online visibility into measurable results. Just made the Inc. 500, one of the fastest growing private U.S. companies. I think that is in large part due to the kind of approach that we take in the way of converting that online visibility. That is, how many people are doing searches for your stuff, and then how many paying customers did you get based on that. And we'll kind of go over that particular piece, which is kind of demystifying, ranking and traffic. That's great, but how has that impacted paying customers? And especially for your B2B folks out there, hopefully this webinar is a treat for you. Some of the top questions that we always get, are the slides available? Yes, they're available. SEO at webmarketing123.com. Feel free to reach out, and we'll get you this deck. We kind of drink the Kool-Aid. You can reach us at webmarketing123.com, facebook.com /webmarketing123, or at Google+ at webmarketing123. We do offer a complimentary SEO assessment, so a free SEO assessment, and at the end I'll kind of repeat that. A lot of companies that take advantage of it, they get a good sense of what is it costing you physically in the way of dollars and pipeline revenue, and how many qualified leads or sales is it costing you to not do this stuff. So a lot of people get a good sense of how best to approach this. All right, so let's look at the agenda. I kind of had fun with some of these topics. First one, does your SEO foundation suck? And it's kind of a interesting saying there, but the point I'm trying to make is the number one thing I always see in websites that are perceived, the perception is, Google hates my website, is that your foundation is awful. That is, you haven't done keyword research, you haven't done keyword mapping, you don't know whether or not people that are filling out the form are going into the CRM and tracking along the sales cycle. There's umpteen million hurdles, and oftentimes what ends up happening is you kind of just move forward with your best guess as to what you think is okay. And we'll go over kind of some of the tenets I feel on a pretty bad SEO foundation. And if you can self-identify with some of them, then definitely want to have a discussion with you. The second part is, how do I get Google to like me? And so we'll go over some of the things, some best practices that we go through in order to kind of put your best foot forward. We'll go into on-page optimization, what that is, link building strategies, and then we'll go into a couple of live site analysis examples. Speaking of which, if we have time towards the end, I want to go over a few live examples. So if you'd be so kind as to submit your URL and the top keyword you want to rank for in the same Q&A submission. Let's try to avoid separate submissions so it's easy for our analysts who are standing by to run the analysis. So do me a favor, your URL and the number one keyword you want to rank for, and at the end I'll kind of pick the one based off of a good example, and we'll see if we can get some time and really walk through, and really that's going to be kind of the crux behind the free assessment that we do. And if you find it valuable and the example I go through, definitely feel free to reach out. All right, so let's start with the first one. Does your SEO foundation suck? How can you tell? So let's take these, and I know there's a lot of information on these slides that I often struggle on, not trying to be overwhelming. So if you would, let's take this one bullet at a time here. So this first one, your foundation sucks if you are unsure of the keywords you are targeting, or whether or not they're quote unquote good. And some of these are subjective. So, what is good? Well, is it converting? That's one question I have. And by conversion, I mean either someone purchasing, if you're in that B2C company out there, or if they're filling out forms. So that's how you know. The second part here on as to whether or not your foundation sucks today, you don't have keyword mapping, and I'll show an example of what that is. So it's physically the blueprints. You know, think of, you know, if you don't have a keyword mapping document, the analogy I like to use, it's like you're trying to build a house without blueprints. You don't know what keywords you're trying to target for what pages. And if you don't have that, you know, how do you know what term to get within page titles and H1s and alt tags and tooltips and within the content? So I often find that this is a big part on getting your foundation proper, which is selecting the right keywords, so extensive keyword expansion, force ranking those keywords, and again, I'll go over an example so I'm clear. And then finally, mapping those terms to the proper pages so you have your blueprints. The third point here is there's no concerted link building effort. So, you know, let's say in a perfect world, you've expanded your keywords, you've mapped them to the right pages, and then you want to make sure that, you know, you get those keywords in the pages themselves, and then you want to build links. So, you know, it shouldn't be a surprise right now, you know, that links from other websites pointing to your site is a big part of what Google looks at in determining whether or not you're more relevant for that super awesome keyword or your competitor is. And if they have more diverse, more links from authoritative websites than you, then they're going to beat you time and time again. So you got to have a link building effort going on, and it's not enough to just say, oh, you know, we do a press release now and again and we slap some keywords in the boilerplate. It's got to be more effective, because what we see, and I have some case studies on companies at the end here showing exactly what we were able to drive in the way of close won dollars and pipeline revenue that would make your head spin. And folks are starting to understand that this is impactful, and they're looking at their budgets and understand, okay, how do I budget for 2013 to take advantage of this? The next point here I want to make in whether or not your foundation sucks is you're not tracking keywords from source to paying customer. And this is both from the B2B as well as the B2C side. So if I were to ask you, and you know, I'm in an interesting position, and I talk to so many folks at different stages of their marketing across verticals. And the first question I ask them is, how's your tracking? And invariably it's always, oh, well, you know, the CMS doesn't allow for, you know, it doesn't allow for tracking, or we use Marketo, and, you know, the landing pages are on subdomains, so we, you know, we kind of lose that link, or, you know, we're using Eloqua, and for whatever reason, you know, we just never got around to it, or we got part out in place and we get part of the visibility and just don't have the second half of it. So you're going to find excuse after excuse after excuse as to why not to track source, that is someone turning to Google, typing in your keyword, filling out a form, and tracking along the sales cycle. So, you know, and every time I hear that, I say, well, you know, really in this day and age with all the super awesome tools out there, there's no excuse to not do that. And, you know, the folks that we work with, their higher-ups, the question they're asking is, you spent $450K in marketing budget. How many close won deals did you get, and how many came from SEO, PPC, and social media? They're getting that question, and more you can't get away with, oh, well, you know, we got X amount of dollars, not sure where it came from. And I want to kind of go over some reports that we're able to generate by closing that loop. The next point here is little to no content generation efforts that are consistent with your keyword mapping. So everyone from the lowest level marketing manager to the highest person in the company should know exactly what keywords you're trying to target on what pages. Because if, you know, say the CEO does you know, a blog post, for instance, or the VP of marketing or the CMO does a blog post, you need to know what terms you're trying to drive traffic to on what pages. And without this mapping, you know, again, you don't know what keywords you're trying to get targeted for what pages. The last point I want to make is, and this is how you can self-identify whether or not your SEO foundation sucks. If you've ever said the following: we did SEO with that one consultant guy that one time. I've heard this one a lot. The next point, our design firm is taking care of that for us, right? We paid them for it. Heard that one a lot too. A lot of folks will, they're going through a redesign process. Oh, and we also do SEO services. 9 times out of 10, that's probably not what you're getting. Last point is, don't we have an internal team taking care of this, along with the 5 other duties that they're responsible for? So, each one of these points I've heard time and time, and if you can self-identify, love to have that conversation with you. So let's take the next point here, which is, how do you get your foundation right? So, and it's a building blocks, and you'd be surprised at just the simple things like keyword expansion, mapping those keywords to the right pages, then making sure that those keywords are within the page titles and meta content and H1 tags and on-page optimization. It's the basic things that are missing. And the companies that I talk to, I mean, big companies that just haven't done these foundation blocks, they're kind of like, oh yeah, we did that. And, you pull back the coverage and you're like, no, you didn't. And, it's kind of basic things. So one of the first points on getting the foundation right, did you conduct that keyword expansion, starting with low-hanging fruit? And we'll dive into analytics here, and I want to show how you identify low-hanging fruit. The second point on a good foundation is you've conducted that keyword mapping document. The third is you're building links with a target in mind per month, so 10 to 30 links per month, and you report on it. And I have a sample link report that we generate for our clients. The next is you're tracking keywords from source to paying customer, and then you are acting on that intelligence. So, you might have a part out in place, or some folks who use HubSpot and they're able to sync with the CRM. We've actually built our own tool. There's a ton of tools out there, but if you're able to track a source organic Google, keyword equals this, tying it to Joe, Bob, whoever, who was a $100,000 paying customer, wouldn't it be nice and doesn't it make sense to know that, hey, that individual came from SEO and it came on this keyword? There is a way to do that. Last point is you're generating content based on keyword themes that are performing. So let's say that after you've tied the source to the opportunity and to a paying customer within your CRM, what I would then do is look at, are there any underlying themes? And we worked on this one campaign recently where it was one theme that was generating 75% of their pipeline revenue. And now that I knew that, what I did was I generated content specifically around that theme to get more derivatives to rank for that theme because it was driving pipeline revenue. And for folks that means something to you, that is such a powerful thing. But it's by tracking from source to paying customer that you get that intelligence. And that's how you start to get your foundation right. So a couple points I want to make. It's not that Google doesn't hate your site. You just have not made it easy for them to like you. So for the 12% who said, Google hates me at the front end of this webinar, you just haven't made it easy to like you. And some of these things I'm talking about will go a long, long way to getting your foundation right. In fact, I would argue that they might not hate you as much as you might think. And how would you know that? So not too long ago, Google Webmaster Tools allowed for the ability to sync up with your Google Analytics. So right away, if you're that person who has Core Metrics or Site Catalyst, this doesn't apply to you. And I would argue you should probably have Google Analytics in tandem with your Core Metrics or your Site Catalyst or whatever other site kind of analytics tool that you use, simply because you're trying to rank for Google, right? You're not trying to rank for Site Catalyst. They don't have a search engine. So, yes, there are some, advanced tools and advanced tracking things you can do with those super fancy widget tools, but at the end of the day, you're trying to rank for Google, and it might make sense to know, well, what does Google think of your site? And the only way you can do that is by having Webmaster Tools installed. So I want to walk through a step-by-step, and this is, again, this is how to tell if Google is starting to like you. So there's a step-by-step process that you want to take. Step 1, get Google Analytics installed in your site. If you don't, get it done. Step 2, get Google Webmaster Tools installed. Webmaster Tools, if you have never heard of this before, you're probably attending the wrong webinar. Google Webmaster Tools is a lot like analytics in that it tracks people coming to your website, but it also tracks spider crawls. So Google sends a bot or a program out, and it's able to go from page to page by following links, and it collects data in the way of broken links, malware issues, how fast your website loads relative to other websites. So you want to get Webmaster Tools installed because we're trying to rank better on Google, because that's where the lion's share of searchers go. So once you have these two steps, you then go into step 3, which is you link the two together. And I'm going to open up one of our profiles on analytics. I'm going to show you how to, where within that section you can go there. The next step is within Google Webmaster Tools reports. So there's a report on there that reports on impressions from an organic perspective. So an example, let's say you rank on page 3 of Google for that super awesome keyword, organically, not paid, but no one clicked on you. Now you can tell. So let me just go ahead and open up analytics for one of our profiles. And I'm going to walk you through the steps. Again, this is how you can start to tell whether or not Google's starting to like you. And this is actually another really good report to run. And this is where I would start. Let's say you were to hire me tomorrow. The next step I would do is look at, all right, what are the low-hanging fruit keywords? That is, what are keywords that rank maybe on page 2 or page 3 of Google? And let me go ahead and log into one of my profiles here, kind of opening up the kimono here for a second, but I think we're all friends, so we'll be good here. All right, so let's see if we can find our website. There we are. So let's go under the core profile here. We have a lot of filters in place. Let's go for the main one, though. All right, so this is the new layout of Google Analytics. And I'm looking at the last month's worth of data. But let's go ahead and drag this out, a few months, just to get a good sense of a good representative data set here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it out a little while, and let's stop here on the 26th. Okay, actually no, I want to make sure I get a bigger sample size here. So let's do this date, and then the second date I want, why not today? How about that? All right, so let's apply this. So I'm looking at several months worth of data. So and let's give it a second to populate here. So there's a new section within Google Analytics that allows you to look at impressions from an organic perspective. So under the left-hand side here, we have traffic sources. So let's click on that, and let's expand that guy. And there's a new section here that I want to highlight called Search Engine Optimization. This is actually funny that even a Google tool would point to, hey, SEO. There's a new section, and we're going to allow it make it easier for you as a webmaster and a marketer to kind of show up organically for these keywords. So let's expand this section, and let's click on the top one here, queries. So let's load this one up. And again, this is a way to tell low-hanging fruit keywords whether or not Google's starting to like you. And you'd be surprised at some of the terms that you already have ranking for, maybe naturally, but you're just not on page 1 yet. So let's load this up. All right, here we are. So let's walk through this. And notice the start date here. So we just got this installed on our site right at the, let's call it mid-July. So this hasn't been out for that long. That is the link between Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools. But notice a few things here, and let's look at kind of some of the top terms down here. And again, this is one of our profiles that we use for our own website. So if you look at some of the queries here, and let me drag this down a little bit. There we are. Here are the queries. So in other words, for the keyword SEO company, it's a non-branded keyword that I want to rank well for. In your case, it might be, widget X or whatever it is. Google's telling me that there are 50,000 impressions. So let's define that. That means you showed up on a search engine results page. You just showed up, not necessarily clicked on you. So think of it almost like PPC. There was an impression, but no one clicked on you. Where clicks column is pretty straightforward. So in other words, for the 50,000 times that my website, webmarketing123, was impressed for that keyword SEO company, I got 900 clicks. And I was ranked in the average position of 7.7. So that's on page 1 of Google, 7th position. Super competitive keyword. Super competitive keyword. And a 1.8% click-through rate. Now that I know this, and this is an important number to have, because we're going to use this later on as we look at kind of an opportunity analysis, which is click-through rate information. But now that I have this, what I want to do is I want to run an advanced filter here. And I'm curious on the average position. So again, you click on that drop-down and you put average position that is greater than 4, so that's page 1, 4th listing on Google. And let's look at a second one, which is but less than, let's say 30. So I'm looking at keywords that rank between positions 5 and 30 to get a good sense of what's the low-hanging fruit. I'm on the cusp of ranking on page 1. I want to know what those keywords are. And here we go. Over that time period. So what this tells me is there's 122,000 impressions. So this is how many people were searching these keywords down here, right? That I might not have known existed before, or I didn't target before. And what I want to know is what's the impressions for those. This is from an organic perspective, mind you. How many clicks did I get? What was the average position for these? So right away I can start to highlight some that I want to start targeting. Internet marketing agency, that one looks good. I got 3,500 people searching for it, and I'm ranked on page 3, 10 listings per page. So page 3, 8th listing. And it's no wonder my click-through rate is so low. So now I want to focus on this keyword, get it ranking higher. Search engine optimization company, another good one. Ranking on page 3 right now, 4th listing. It's no wonder my click-through rate is so low. So notice as I get ranking higher and higher, I start getting that click-through rate up. So this is, and what I would do with this report, and again, this is if you hired me tomorrow, this is the first thing I do. I go in there and I start exporting this report, and I start to run my filters. And my filters are impressions high to low, ranking low to high. And I start to pick out those keywords and start to do on-page optimization, map them to the right pages, start my link building campaign, and then tracking form fill outs to paying customers. So that's how you start to get this stuff right. All right, so let's go back to, and again, this is that low-hanging fruit analysis. All right, I guess out of curiosity, how many, and you can type in the Q&A chat, how many knew that this report existed? Just a simple yes or no, and have you done anything about it? And I'm looking at the Q&A, got a lot of no's. We got one yes. Graham says yes, a lot of no's. Yes, did not know how to read it though. That's good observation, Caroline. A lot of no's. Knew it exists, have not used it. All right, so just gives you a good sense of how to kind of better run these advanced filters and that sort of thing. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to the slides. All right, and we left off on this slide. All right, so now we know how to tell if Google's starting to like me. So go in there, run your filters, have some fun with it. Low-hanging fruit analysis. And if none of that made sense to you, reach out for that free assessment, and I'm happy to do the same thing, look at your analytics, and help you out there. All right, so who does Google love, and why do they love them? I had fun with this one. So, and we'll look at a few examples here, and I actually want to highlight GoToMeeting and how they are able to get ranking on online meetings, and we'll look at that here in a second. So who do they love? They love Amazon. They love Wikipedia. They love GoToMeeting, and they love Salesforce. Why do they love each of these? They love them for different reasons. But for Amazon, they have a lot of supporting keyword-rich content, and the keyword that they rank #1 for is hand tools. Wikipedia, they have just a ton of pages indexed, and they have a lot of people that link to them. And they rank for anything, unfortunately. That's the sad face. GoToMeeting, they have teams, and I've met them. They have teams who know how to get Google to like them. So they got the keyword mapping. They do link building. They get keywords in the on-page positions. And I'm going to highlight this one in particular. And let's look at how they got ranking #1 for online meetings, because they had a team that worked on it. And then finally, Salesforce, they got a lot of inbound links. And again, I've heard of it. I had a buddy who used to work on this campaign, and the link building that they did was impressive. And the reason they did that, and the reason they had a team of 15 people working on this, was because they saw the return. And they rank on page 1 for CRM and customer relationship management, that sort of thing. You know, the Sugar CRM is another example. Siebel, a lot of CRMs out there. We actually use Salesforce. All right, so let's look at that one example, GoToMeeting. So let's open up that browser again. Let's open up a new tab, and I'm going to do a search for online meetings. And let's see where they rank. There's GoToMeeting above the fold, right behind WebEx in the 3rd position. So, you know, kind of right away the first things that I look for, and let's highlight online meetings there. So it looks like they got it within the page title in the 2nd position, didn't get it within the meta description. So one of the questions I always get is, well, if I don't get my keywords in my meta descriptions, is that the end of the world? No. I mean, Google looks at 200 plus different variables in determining whether or not WebEx or Fusebox is more relevant than GoToMeeting. So you can get your keyword in the page title and have it be okay, but you probably should also get that keyword within the actual page itself. So let's look at their homepage, and it looks like they have their homepage ranking for online meetings. And let's highlight where they have it, so that at least they got it one time within the copy itself. And this is another reason why Google might not like your website as much as you would like, because you don't get your keywords in your content. And this is such a struggle with a lot of websites we work on. There's one I'm working on right now where they said, my CEO will not allow text on the page. And I said, well, your CEO probably has his priorities mixed up, and he probably doesn't have full information on why it's important to get keywords on the page. Because if he had known, then he'd know that, hey, if Google can't read it, chances of them actually giving you credit for it minimize. And then you're having to kind of over-augment other areas like link building in order to get relevant for a keyword that, had you just got it in the content, it'd be easy. I have a buddy that works for a competing agency that worked on, and I'm not under NDA with these folks, but on a campaign, let's call them a large international shipper. We'll leave it at that. And they refused to get the keyword international shipping on the page. And that was what was holding them back from ranking in the #1 position. They were ranking 3rd before getting that keyword on the page. And we were in their office, and I was with the global VP of marketing, and I said, hey, if you get this keyword international shipping in the content, you will rank #1, I guarantee it. Sure enough, she picked up the phone, called the webmaster, said, you will get that keyword on that page, or it's your job. Sure enough, a few days later, did a search for international shipping. There they were in the #1 position. So, it's by kind of getting buy-in from the top down that you start to get some movement. So again, how did GoToMeeting rank on page 1 for online meetings? So from an on-page perspective, they get the keyword within the page title, and they got it one time within the content. That's it. In terms of on-page optimization, of the 200 variables that search engines are looking at, I give a kind of a weightage that kind of Google prescribes to on-page optimization at 40%. That is 40% of Google's algorithm, and that's a kind of a rough number, I realize that. Less than half of ranking is due to on-page optimization. So it's not, you could do a super awesome link building campaign and make up for the fact that you don't have on-page optimization as well as you'd like, for instance. So just by getting those keywords in these 2 areas, they've satisfied a good portion of that 40%, in my opinion. Let's look at the second piece of optimization, which is link building. So I use SEO Mods as Open Site Explorer. For all of you folks out there who are familiar with SEO Mods, I'm a big fan of them. Learned a lot from them. Worked with guys that also worked for SEO Mods. I like their tools. So it's kind of like a SEO tools company, if you will. I use Open Site Explorer because of all the tools out there, they index a ton of pages, trillions of links. So it's closest to Google's bot as possible. That's why I like to use it. But the reason I use this tool is to look from a link building perspective. What is it that GoToMeeting is doing so well from a link building perspective that has Google liking them so much that they would rank them in the #3 position for the keyword online meetings? So let's take a quick look here. And you can actually compare different sites and this sort of thing. And there's a lot of, that's kind of one of the knocks I kind of give SEO Mods. It's almost too many bells and whistles. Keep it simple. The thing I want to highlight here is this anchor text tab. And they have a free trial that you can go and kind of try them out. But let's look at this anchor text tab. And what anchor text is it's simply a clickable link. In other words, what this report tells me for GoToMeeting, who ranks on page 1 for the keyword online meetings, how many links do they have pointing to them? So these are all links on other websites pointing to GoToMeeting, and here is the one I want to highlight right here. So it looks like they're getting some link building going on. Online meetings. So this number 26 and 105, 26 is the number of unique domains that link to GoToMeeting using the keyword online meetings. 105 is simply the number of overall links that link to GoToMeeting using the keyword online meetings. And let's expand this really quick, and let's find a couple of them. Looks like we have some press releases. Looks like they're using that well. Let's highlight this one, Media Center Motorola. And let's see what's going on here. So again, this is the 60% of optimization. So GoToMeeting has clearly gotten that keyword in page titles and within the content, but what are they doing from that 60% of optimization side? So a lot of folks have heard press release is a good way to do it. I would argue you want more diversified links these days, especially with Panda and Penguin and and whatever other zoo animal Google rolls out in order to try to shake it up on marketers. So let's look at what's going on here. So on this domain, a press release, Media Center, there is a keyword, online meetings, that's linked to GoToMeeting's homepage in the bottom left here. So let's walk through the logic. Google sends out a bot. That bot is able to go from page to page by following links. It hits mediacenter.motorola.com/press release/ everything having to do with GoToMeeting, and here's this keyword online meetings. It goes to destination URL in the bottom left with that keyword in mind. This is a vote of confidence from this domain linking to GoToMeeting using the keyword online meetings, telling them, hey, I vote for GoToMeeting. You should give them better ranking. So notice this other keyword, mobile collaboration. Look at what's going on there. They are linking to a deeper page in the bottom left, the online meeting page. So in my opinion, it looks like they have a keyword mapping document going on. So someone somewhere within GoToMeeting, they have a keyword mapping document, and they know what links they're trying to get within different collateral, whether it be articles, press releases, blog posts, diversity. And I would urge diversity is more important, especially now that Google's rolling out all these algorithm changes to try to combat this. All right, so that's kind of why GoToMeeting ranks as well as they do for the keyword online meetings, because they have a lot of supporting content. They do on-page SEO as well as this link building effort. Let's get back to, we have a lot of material to go through, and we have like 20 minutes left. So let's go back to the webinar here, and let's go back to the area that we left off. All right, so I'm going to breeze through some of these slides. For some of you folks who have been attending our webinars for a long time, and I know a lot of you have, This is familiar to you. This is kind of our pillars of SEO. It starts with keywords. You then want to get those keywords in site content and meta content, URLs, this idea of content siloing, so kind of building up the themes of your web pages, and then inbound links. This is a successful SEO campaign. And it all starts with keyword research. It starts with optimizing your keywords. What does that mean? It means expanding your keywords using both Google tools, and there are some good paid tools out there that allow you to expand your keywords. And we found another tool, which is linking your Google Analytics to Webmaster Tools and looking at that low-hanging fruit. There are keywords in there that are gold that you just didn't know about. And Google's saying, hey, I give you an impression for it, and you're somewhat relevant, you know, but you're on page 5, for instance. You just need to impress me a little bit more. So, you know, there's some expansion that needs to go on here. So best practices is you want to have a mix of both generic and long-tail keywords within your keyword basket, within your mapping. So you want keywords that are introducers, you want keywords that influence, and you want closing keywords. Working with this company, this moving company, where they said, Mike, I want you to get me ranking for moving quotes, not just moving in the rain. I want you to get me ranking for moving quotes and moving estimates, because that's a searcher that's way far along the sales cycle. And they're not just looking at moving companies, they're looking at, hey, I'm getting quotes here. And if you rank for that, that's awesome. So keywords that are introducers, influencers, and closing types of keywords. And I might even kind of label them like that. And it's not just about search volume. You know, some folks, they get so caught up on, oh, well, this keyword has 100,000 searches. I would say, yeah, you know, that's less important. I want to know, does that keyword convert? And if a keyword only gets 10 searches, but it converts 50% of the time versus that 100,000 keyword search volume term, but it converts less than 0.001% of the time, I care very much about that keyword that has less search volume. The next point here, Google your proposed terms and see what other sites show up for those keywords, and are they relevant? And if it isn't, probably not the best keyword. You want to expand on your keywords by looking at variations, and then finally you want to look at your pages. Is there content on that web page that targets that keyword? Here's another slide I like to go through. This really goes at the heart of the length of the keyword you end up going after. And this was a study done by SEO Mods where everyone kind of showed their cards based on the campaigns they were working on. So other agencies shared their information. And what we found was keywords that were about 3 to 4 phrases in length. So not just software. You know, it's great that you want to rank for software, but, you know, it's not going to be a converting keyword. What about best financial SMB software? You know, that 4 keyword key phrase. Further along the sales cycle, probably going to increase the likelihood of conversion. So look at your keyword length. It's important. There are tools out there. Google Keyword Tool External, and that will give you a good sense of what tools are available. Click on that first link, and you'll get this tool. You plug in your keywords, and it'll give you the search volume. So this is a question we always get. Well, what tools do you use in order to get search volume? This is it. Google search term, Google Keyword Tool, and click on the first link. Once you have that robust list of keywords, you then want to map those keywords to the proper pages. Again, this is getting your foundation right so that you know, hey, on the home page, I'm targeting these 3 keywords for the home page. These terms better be within page titles, within meta descriptions, within the content itself, as many times as it makes sense naturally to the user as they read it. And don't stuff those keywords. Again, mapping, super important. Another question we get, how many keywords can you map on a per page basis? I've seen it as low as 1. I've seen it as high as 10. Now, I like to avoid mapping multiple upon multiple keywords on a per page basis, but I like that sweet spot between 3 to 5. And notice these keywords are those 3 to 4 terms in length, further along the sales cycle, not just collaboration tools. you want to benchmark where you are at month over month. And this is actually a real report from one of our clients who we've been working with for several years. Notice we've been working, over 2011, and kind of we really do a good job at trying to show where you're at any given month. Initial ranking back in 2011, July-ish. Just rankings as of, let's see here, we're in October almost, so as of last month, the 5th. So we like to show this type of progress, which is you start to move, and again, let's look at this one, level transmitter, 22,200 searches on a monthly basis. When they started with us, they were ranking 9th. After we got our optimization report done the next month, Google started to give us more credit. The next month they said, yep, that was the trick, number 1, consistently. And competition, number of competing web pages. So when you do a search for a level transmitter, Google's telling us there are close to 1 million other competing web pages that Google finds relevant. So you want to see this type of movement month over month, starting to progress. So quick question. If you're currently working with an SEO agency right now and you haven't seen this type of result, I'd love to talk to you. I'm just going to go out here and say it right now. You want to see this type of movement month over month, and you should be. But again, my next question is, it's great that there's 22,000 people looking for this keyword, and it's also awesome that I'm ranking number 1. My next question is, does it convert? And the only way you're going to know that is if you've linked your CRM to your web analytics. And I'm going to get to that right here in a second. Next thing you want to do, after you've done your month-over-month keyword ranking, kind of that eye chart, you want to report on your core KPIs. So this is kind of a physical scorecard that we do for each and every one of our campaigns by what we're doing. So we have SEO KPIs, we have PPC KPIs, and we have social media KPIs. And we benchmark. When did we start, and what did it look like? And month over month, what are we planning on getting so that we put ourselves out there and say, I think I can get you this. And what are we actually getting right underneath it? And if we didn't hit that mark, I want to know why. What's going on? We call this kind of root cause countermeasure type of analysis. The root cause was, well, Google changed their algorithm. Our countermeasure is we're going to do this in order to combat it. We find that this gets higher ups on the same page. And when they look at this, they say, okay, we're on the right track. We agreed on those KPIs the first month, and now I know what winning looks like in month 6. And it also requires agreement on your core KPIs. A lot of companies, they get started, they either do it in-house and they don't have something like this, so they don't know what winning looks like. And the beauty behind it is there's no question where you're at any given time and what needs improving. So highly recommend that. Might want to even take a screenshot. On-page optimization. Now that you have your keyword mapping document, you want to make sure you get those keywords within URLs, page titles, and meta descriptions. This is kind of the code, the back end of any given page. So you want to get them within your page titles and meta descriptions. So, and it almost makes sense to, add some check boxes next to each one of these terms and say, yep, got it, got it, got it. Then get those keywords within page titles. Here's a couple of examples on where you want to get those terms. We find that, towards the front of those page titles have a little bit more impact, but this is such a minor kind of point. I include in here just to give you a sense of, you want to make sure that you're moving down that checklist. This idea of deep content silos. And the way you create these content silos is by linking to pages. So on the home page, if I have my SMB keywords, I want to link to my SMB section. And I want to be careful not to cross-link, that is, linking from my SMB page to the mobile page. That confuses Google because Google is able to go from page to page by linking to one another. So if you keep a tight siloed of where you have your links, that's how you start to build up a section in Google's mind of, okay, all these pages have to do with SMB plus keywords. So that's how you start to build your silos. All right, a little bit on link building strategy with the 10 minutes we have left here. It's all about diversity in links. You want links from Directories, believe it or not, they're still impactful. Blogging links, still impactful. Links from social. Google's flat out said we're looking at Google Plus these days and looking at social factors as to whether or not you're relevant. So yet another reason to might do that social media campaign, even though you haven't shored up kind of paying customers based off of tweets. PR web, press releases, we saw how GoToMeeting's doing it. DMOs, of course you want to get it there. All pointing to your site. Diversify your linking portfolio. That's the message here. Kind of the 3-month game plan on how to get these links. Start with low-hanging fruit. And by low-hanging fruit, you remember that keyword report? Start to pick out those ones where they're yellow, just outside page 1. Because we're already ranking on page 1 for these other ones. So highlight the keywords that rank just outside of page 1, and I already showed you how to do it within Google Analytics. Pick those out, start building links for them, using your press releases, that sort of thing. So go after those ones, and the low-hanging fruit. Don't start from, keyword.com or just keyword. That's not going to convert for you anyways, right? That's the keywords that are 3 to 4 phrases in length that have that better conversion rate. This graph on the side here, this highlights kind of the benefits as you go from page 2 to page 1. So for the keyword wallets, ranking in the 21st position. So actually this is page 3. So page 1, page 2, page 3. So as they went from page 3 to the 16th position in page 2, this client saw a 50% increase in search traffic, moving from position from 21 to 16. As they moved from page 2, 11th position, to page 1 in the 6th position, saw a 273% increase in search traffic, going from, again, page 2 to page 1. So that's the benefit of focusing on that low-hanging fruit. Press releases, another way. Salesforce does a bang-up job of getting those keywords within their boilerplates. CRM, cloud computing. Here's the source. Check it out. Images and alt text. A lot of people don't realize, but alt tags, the way Google views alt tags, so let's say I have an alt tag, online presentation software, as Prezi does, within their image. Google views this as a link, believe it or not. And the view that Google reads, that is then a anchor text link using online presentation software pointing back to Prezi. So if you're doing any trade shows or anything like that and people ask for, oh, do you have a logo? Get your alt tags. Get the keywords in there. It's going to help you. Guest blogging, that's another good way to do it. Do a search for whatever industry you're in and then guest blog. And whatever shows up on page 1, start to reach out to those bloggers. Easy, low-hanging fruit that you can start to get to get some anchor text one-way links. And you want to diversify your anchor text, by the way. Didn't quite touch on that. One of Google's algorithm changes recently looked at exact match anchor text links as, no, that's not quite natural. So you want to diversify it, maybe put brand hyphen keyword you're trying to rank for. Better diversification of your links. You also want to track your links month over month. I want to know, and this is a report that we generate for our clients on a monthly basis, where's the website I'm using, what is that anchor text I'm using, where am I sending it per my keyword mapping document, and what's the status of it. So if you're working with an agency right now and you don't get this, my #1 call after this is to ask them, where's my link report? And if you're doing this in-house, I might want to track this a little bit more diligently. Bonus material. All right, so there's 2 kind of major ways to track this stuff from a B2B perspective. So for you B2C folks, sorry. There's kind of a crawl, walk, and run scenario. Crawling, walking, you're tracking form fill-outs. So let's look at a quick report on what that might look like. So you're tracking form fill-outs. So this is a screenshot of one of our other clients where we're looking at, and we set up goals before we started. I wanted to look at 5 goals. Everyone who did the demo, the trial, who bought the thing, who filled out the contact us, or who downloaded the white paper. And I knew, this client told me, Mike, for every 100 trial form fill-outs that I get, I'm able to close a higher percentage of them. So then I wanted to know, all right, what keywords led to a higher percentage of trials? So now I focus on it, right? So if I didn't have this information, I might focus on maybe this one right here too much, even though it gets more searches. But in this one, converted at a higher rate. So I focused on that, which is great. And this is a first step in that process of kind of identifying what's performing for you. You got to get goals set up, get them set up in analytics, and see what terms are converting. So my next question is, where do I rank on Google for this keyword, digital publishing platform, that converts at a higher rate than all the other keywords? Ranked in the 4th position when I ran this report back in the day. And as a result, I then built some links for that and started to get it ranking in the 1st, 2nd position. So that's how you start to make baby steps towards closing that loop. But believe it or not, that's not kind of where you need to be in terms of tracking this stuff. Where you want to be is kind of tracking this stuff a little bit more closely to paying customers, especially for your for the B2B folks out there that have a Salesforce or a CRM. And what I mean by that is, and this is a screenshot of one of my opportunities, and I've blocked out the name here for SEO. I am able to pull in the medium and the keyword and attach it to the opportunity object and track it along the sales cycle, so that when this individual closes, I know that $72,000 needs to be attributed to the keyword Bay Area SEO. So now, as I'm doing my own optimization, I need to get that keyword ranking higher because it generated 72 grand. And I know that my organic is working. Now that I have made this connection, I can generate a report that looks like this. And this is nirvana for any marketer. And I'll pause here. Now, folks, you want to take a screenshot. I know my competitors that are attending this, you might want to take a screenshot too. Because if you can report on this, you're starting to make some ground up on me as an agency. You have your organic keywords, how many leads, how many opportunities, and how many deals. So now that I know this, I start to look at keywords that are generating dollars at a higher clip than everything else. And my next question is, where do I rank on Google for these keywords? And if I'm not ranking in the first 3 positions, that then becomes my low-hanging fruit. For some of you folks that are looking at this report right now and saying, that's where I need to be, please reach out to us. All right, so I know I got like 3 minutes left, so we might go a little bit over. So let me see if I can pick out a couple of examples. Evan, do you have a good example of anyone who submitted their site? Or should I just look in the Q&A and kind of pick one at random?
I've been answering a couple hundred questions from our very
I can imagine.
engaged
I can imagine there's a lot of questions for you that you folks are having out there. All right, how about this? For the next person to submit their website, here we go. Insure.com, life insurance quote. Matt, you're quick to the draw. Okay, INSURE.com, life insurance quotes. Boy, that's a competitive space. Can't tell you how many insurance companies I've talked to that wanted to rank for that. All right, so insure.com. Now let's look at what you're doing from an on-page optimization standpoint, and let's see what's going on here. And the keyword again is life insurance quotes. All right, so let's look at here. All right, so we got the keyword on the page a couple times, not bad. All right, so the first things I look at right away is on-page optimization. So we got term life insurance quotes. Not sure if you want to maybe move that term out of there and just test it out, see if it kind of helps you in the short run. Then you got car insurance quotes, health insurance quotes, and then you got your brand at the end. So looks like you might have attended a few webinars, or maybe you're working with an agency just by looking at your page titles. I mean, just kind of a quick observation there. Let's look in the actual source code of this page. Another thing I kind of look at is to see if you're using any CMSs. And I got a kind of a widget tool that allows me to look in here, and it's not obvious if you're on a CMS or not. So I don't have any intelligence on that. Let's look at the source code of the page right here. Let's see if we can find Looks like you're using ClickTail, so an advanced tracking tool, but I also want to make sure you got Google Analytics in place. Okay, Google Plus button. Yep, there's your analytics. There you go, that's looking good. Okay, any advanced tracking things going on? Doesn't look like it. All right, so from an on-page optimization standpoint, we got keyword life insurance quotes and page title. Looks like we have it maybe in a header tag. So I'm curious as to how Google views this page. And the way you can tell is by caching it. So CACHE colon, and you should, if you're doing on-page optimization right now, you should have this burned into your memory. So this is Google's view of this homepage, insure.com. And I look at the text-only version because Google's not really that good yet at looking at kind of flash or images or that sort of thing. And I look at this view and I say, okay, do they see it in there? Yeah, it looks like a header tag. So life insurance quotes. So we have it once there and one other time within the content. So I might get some additional supporting content just to build up that theme a little bit. The next thing I do is I look at, from a theme basis, how well have we done in building up the keyword life insurance quotes. So I do a site colon, no space in between, www.yoursite.com, space and keyword. And the reason I do this is I start to say, all right, remember that slide on kind of building out content silos? This has a lot to do with it. So I'm asking Google, I'm doing an internal site search, and I'm saying on the site, insure.com, how many related pages do you find relevant for life insurance quotes? So they find the homepage relevant for it. Then they go straight to the articles. Now, this isn't necessarily ordered in the way of importance. That is, they find your homepage #1 relevant, and then the articles section the second relevant. But it's not far off. So what strikes me is that you don't have a dedicated, deeper life-insurance-quotes page dedicated for it. And the reason I like to have, especially if you're telling me that life insurance quotes is the #1 keyword that you care about, I have two kind of main pages that I try to target, especially for my top 5 keywords. I always target my home page for it, and then I also always recommend to build out that life-insurance-quotes page. And then I start to do my deep linking to that deeper page. I found that Google kind of prefers that deeper page as opposed to the home page, believe it or not. And it allows me to kind of only reserve my home page for those more targeted keywords. So let's look and see what you're doing on a link building perspective, and let's go back to that SEO Moz tool. So in terms of a grade that I would give you for insurance quotes from an on-page perspective, I might play around, bring life insurance quotes to the first position of the page title, and I'd probably build out that deeper life insurance quotes page. But from an on-page perspective, I'd give you a B. I'd probably build out a little bit more content surrounding on that. You got it one time within the content itself, but I might want to beef it up a little bit, depending on who you're going up against. And I would imagine you're going up against some hefty competition, and let's leave it at that. So let's go back to this SEO Moz Open Site Explorer tool. Let's plug in insure.com, and let's see what type of link building you're doing. All right, and again, we're on the anchor text tab here. Okay, so we got car insurance. Looks like you're doing some linking. Good job there. 164 unique domains and 8,000 links using car insurance. Boy, you've been working on this a while, haven't you? Okay, we have term life insurance quotes. I actually like this as an anchor text. Any other life insurance quotes? Let's see if we can find it in here. There we go. Interesting. So you only have 12 different unique domains according to this tool. And let's use it, it's not 100% perfect, but let's call it a ratio. and 24 actual links. And if you're saying this is your #1 keyword, you've been spending a whole heck of a lot of time on car insurance, it sounds like. So I might want to, if you're saying this is the #1 keyword, and again, I'm not sure, I might want to build up my linking portfolio for kind of life insurance quotes. So let's see where you're getting this link from. Let's see if you have some good links here. Oh, there we are. It looks like you're using those press releases, PR Web. Well done. And it looks like you got some personal finance, so Fox Business, some good links here. Let's take a look at one of these out of curiosity. All right, there we go. So this is a good job in terms of trying to get links on other websites. But you know, Fox Business, that's great. I might try to look at more life insurance themed types of websites. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would take this, 9 out of 10 times. But again, I'd probably want to look at other more similarly related types of maybe blogs or directories or that sort of thing. Google is starting to kind of shift some more weight towards that. Back in the day, JCPenney got dinged for getting, dresses on a car blog, for instance. So definitely want to avoid that. So again, as we all learned, Google spiders this domain. It hits life insurance quotes, goes to destination URL on the bottom left. And I know we're 6 minutes over, so for those of you who have to drop off, I understand. Going to insure.com, so going to the home page. So what I might do, again, is build that deeper life insurance quotes page and start to build some links for that too. Maybe in a perfect world, you get a double listing as you start to progress. All right. So out of curiosity, I wonder where you rank on page 1 for this. I'm sorry, life insurance quotes. I'm curious if you're on page 1 because you've been doing this. I mean, you only got 24 links. Don't see you there. Let's do insure. You might be on page 2 or 3 maybe. Insure.com, no, not page 1. Aha, bottom of page 2. Wow, not bad for life insurance quotes. Not bad at all, sir. Might need to kind of kick it in overdrive. Actually, I wouldn't mind having a conversation with you. I have some thoughts on how you might get above the fold, at least on page 2 to page 1, started in 2013. And I can imagine the effort you put in order to get to where you're at right now. So not bad at all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to the webinar here and put up this one last slide. And this is what I was talking about in terms of the analysis that we can do. So what I can do is look at kind of a list of keywords you want to rank for, come up with a total search volume for that keyword set. And this is an example that we did for another company. And what we found was it was costing them $32 million a year to not rank on page 1 for a given keyword set. Going through click-through rate, and now we know where to get click-through rate from, so I'm tying that back. You look in Google Webmaster Tools. Conversion to lead, and this was their sales process. This is how many they were able to funnel through the pipeline, and they had a 100K average sale price. So monthly cost of 2.7, yearly cost of 32 million. So if if you're trying to make the business case for us, we can help you build this. We've worked with some big companies for sure. 2 case studies I want you to leave with. Case study number 1, capital equipment manufacturer. Total investment, $437 grand over the time they've been working with us on SEO and PPC. Generated $5.9 million in pipeline revenue. And the way we were able to tell that is by closing that loop from organic and PPC traffic to from lead opportunity within the CRM. That's how you do this. Second one, an OEM, 74K, just did SEO. We're kind of starting off small and kind of progressing. generated $2.6 million in pipeline revenue. Actual revenue closed won within the system, $228K. And again, closed loop tracking. All right, so if any of that was of interest to you, please reach out. Love to talk with you. I know we've lost quite a few folks having gone 10 minutes over, so for those of you who have stayed, I appreciate it. We generated a kind of a state of the digital marketing report recently. If you want to know kind of where your peers, where they're seeing their returns from, feel free to go to our homepage, webmarketing123.com, and download the report. Again, I'd love to talk to you. Reach out, see if what is costing your business to not do this stuff, and you know, might even do something for Q4 this year. And if not, I'd love to have that conversation with you in 2013. Email SEO at webmarketing123. You can connect with me, mike.t@webmarketing123.com. All right, everyone. I appreciate you attending this webinar. Thank you for your trust, and look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. All right, thanks, everyone. Bye.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.